I'm live. I'm live. And you're seeing me live. Okay. Hi. Here I am. It is time for our Sunday hangout. I'm looking at my phone. And any moment now, Romaine will join us. And then we will have some Romaine fun. I'm trying to adjust the screen so I'm my most attractive. Thank you. Thank you for noticing and asking, seeing how things are going. All right, here's how it works. You're probably not watching us live if you're seeing me talking right now. So Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. You can join us. Go to our YouTube channel, Derek and Romaine. All you have to do is type Derek and Romaine into YouTube. And there we will be. And here is Romaine.
Hey, everybody!
I'm looking at the thing, and it looks like we have 0 live viewers right now, so we're a big hit.
Ooh, Well, it is 4:01. Where are they?
Well, it takes a minute for people to get through. I think there's like an ad that plays at the beginning, and so it takes a minute for people to get in. There might also be a lag on just it telling me that we have viewers. I don't know.
Well, we have questions, so how can that be?
Oh, people can ask their questions in advance, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Smart people ask their questions days in advance.
I see.
To make sure that their question gets answered.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, we have some live viewers with us now, Romaine. It's nice. It's nice to see you. I feel like I have barely talked to you this week.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I had kind of a little bit more of a quiet week. A little bit. Yeah, I guess you're right. We haven't really talked much this week. Sorry about that.
That's
I feel like we've both been a little bit busy. I kind of was a little bit laid back this week. A little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
I also returned a bit more to my normal routine this week.
Yeah.
Too. I guess I'm just settling into being unemployed.
I had a dream about the office today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I dreamt. I've had a lot of work dreams since the cancellation of our show, where I'm like at Sirius XM and I'm like in the halls and I'm like talking to people, but I know the show has been canceled in all the dreams, so it's not like in my dreams I'm in denial or anything. But yeah, I've had a lot of dreams about the office. Okay. I don't know what it means. I just know that I've been dreaming about it a lot.
I have not had dream one about the office.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky you, I guess.
I guess.
They kind of make me sad. I'm not going to lie. They kind of made me sad. Like this morning I woke up and I was just like, I was kind of in a crabby mood. And I was just like, what the fuck is your problem? And I'm like, nothing. I was just dreaming about work. And she goes, oh.
For the first week to 2 weeks after the show got canceled, my brain, it was like I just kept thinking, oh, well, I'm in a nightmare and I'm going to wake up. Like, this is just an exceedingly long dream, and then it's going to end. And then, because I do, when I have, I have fairly vivid, realistic dreams just in general. And so it would not be out of the realm of possibility that I would have some kind of dream like this, and then I would wake up and be like, oh, that's crazy. So anyway, well, we have lots of people here with us, Romaine. It's nice to see you. Here we are chatting again, doing our live.
Hey, everybody! You're just chatting like you're not even there.
But let's go to some of the comments, because Kim says she's on, and Heidi says, I'm currently here live, LOL. Ryan says, I was here, but on YouTube. This Hangout stuff is confusing. Look, I understand that it's confusing, and it has made it hard for people to figure out how to watch this and how to interact and everything. But basically, YouTube is owned by Google. And the Google Hangouts is sort of a live stream versus YouTube, where people just upload videos that are already done. And so what the Google Hangouts does is it makes the live stream available into your YouTube channel, so people can then watch it there as well. But the interactive components of it are all over in the Google Hangouts side of things. So if you're watching this live, on YouTube, and it would need to be between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. on a Sunday, Eastern time. But if you're watching us live, there should be a little thing on the lower part of the screen. Actually, I think it's like here, right? It'll be a little strip that says, click here for Q&A and whatever. And even if the show is not live, you can click on that, and then you can thumbs up or thumbs down the various parts of the conversation that are going on. But anyway, but if you're here live, then you can click the thing that looks like a keypad right up here, and then you can ask your questions or vote up the questions of other people. Like this one from Richie. Richie says, I'm here. Hi, Richie. Nice to see you.
Richie.
Hi. Okay, let's see what John has to say. John has a question. John says, I have been listening to Throwing Shade a lot lately in your absence. At the least, is a weekly podcast something that interests you both as you determine what is next? I mean, we're basically trying to figure out what the best route is to go. And I think that Romaine and I both think that with our audience, people are used to hearing us 5 days a week. They like the fact that our show is live. Not everyone can listen live. We've had lots of people who listened overnight. Oh, Romaine just wandered off. We had lots of people who listen overnight and, in the morning rebroadcast and that kind of thing, or would time shift in other ways using the app. And so we certainly want to make those kinds of options available to people too. But 48% of our listeners in the last survey, I feel like it was 48 or 49%, identified themselves as commuters, people who get in their car every day and listen to our show routinely. So whatever our future thing is, the plurality of our listeners are commuters. And I would say the majority of our listeners are, because another 17% or something identified themselves as truckers. So they're also in a vehicle every day available to listen to the show. So we would be crazy to launch something that didn't serve that audience for sure. So I think a weekly thing probably would not be enough for people, as we have seen from this Hangout. I don't know about you, Romaine, but I still get junky, oh, please give me another Derek and Romaine fix all week long in between these Hangouts.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's I find it very difficult not to want to push that button and turn on a mic and talk every day, just because I'm so used to it. I mean, really, it feels weird to not be on. You know, when you spend 12 years of your life in the on position, it's really hard to turn off. So yeah, I'm like you, Derek. I'm like, I need to talk to people. I need to take their calls. I need to answer questions. Oh my God, I have things I want to share. Who am I going to share them with? So yes, I'm with you. It's very hard.
All right, let's go to our next question, shall we? This one's from Brian. Brian says, give us some news, bitches. Your Periscopes this week seem to be more positive regarding continuing the show in some fashion. Also, let's hear about future city council person Derek Hartley. I'll take the last part first, then I will let Romaine answer the first part. But I am not running for city council. I know that some of you think that I am, and I do have some local endeavor to announce soon, but it is not city council.
He's running for senator. I'm kidding.
Do you want to talk about our more positive attitude?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a positive attitude. If you run for senator, can I be your campaign manager?
I think if I ran for a statewide office here in New York, my campaign manager would have to be a New York resident. I think, but I'm not sure.
That's some bullshit.
I don't know. I would have to look into it.
Well, couldn't we lie and say I live with you like your old roommate does? I mean, listen, he doesn't lie, but I'm just saying, couldn't I be like an extra roommate that pretends to live with you?
Probably not.
What?
You know, if I run for some kind of office, I think a minimum of pretending is important.
That's some crap.
Yeah, all right. I don't think you're cut out.
We're practically married. We're practically married, Derek.
We're legally married.
Well, not legally in the married sense of married, but yes.
No, but by the way, I did get our final form in the mail on Friday, Romaine. Ironically enough.
Ooh, fancy. It's legit, folks.
Okay, so let me just explain about Romaine and I being married. So Romaine and I have an LLC that we formed to manage the things for our show outside of the actual doing of our show at SiriusXM. So things like the cruise and other events that we do around the country and all that kind of thing. So it's just basically a financial pass-through entity in order to, manage our liability and everything should, say, for instance, the cruise that we do explode. But anyway,
jumbo that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so Romaine and I, after years and years of talking about setting up such a legal entity, finally this year did. And then the irony is our show got canceled, literally. Like, hooray, we're finally together. Oh, what? We got broken up. Okay.
We're not broken up. We're just living in separate quarters for the time being.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, we still have the cruise coming up this fall, and lots of people are continuing to show interest in the cruise. If you're thinking about going, there's still plenty of time to book. And I just got an email this morning from somebody who wants to book. I haven't emailed you back, but Mike, I got your email. Anyway, I will just say that Romaine and I are trying to keep a positive, upbeat attitude. And we don't have anything specific to announce. I know people are excited that we will announce something imminently. But I want you to know that people have reached out to us. We have reached out to people. There has been a flurry of interest and discussion about our show continuing somewhere else from more than one place. So I think that it makes Romaine and I feel confident that we might be able to find some home for Derek and Romaine. I think the listeners will understand when we say we want to find the best home. It's not like, if we wanted to find just any old place to put the show, we could, but we want the best home not only for us and feeling supported and being able to do what we do best, but we also want the best home for you, meaning we want it so that, you'll be able to listen to the show with the most availability possible. And, that's important. And we're really thinking those things through. We're not just jumping at the first opportunity that comes knocking. We're really trying to be really thoughtful in how we decide where we're going to end up and how we're going to end up if we end up somewhere. So that's part of why we're not being like, oh, well, this and this happened, because, we don't know what's happened yet. We're still very much in a, exploratory stage. Very good, Romaine.
Thank you, Derek.
Here's Steven's question. After 12 years, who is your best and worst guest or guess?
That's a hard one. I mean, for me, I think, I still think one of my favorite guests of all times was in the very, very early days of the show, was a guy by the name of James Bidgood. He was this wackadoodle guy, and he was terrified of heights. And what made his appearance so good is that he came in high on God only knows what. And he was this kind of older generation queen. And when it came time for him to leave, he was so terrified because the studios were kind of in the inside of the building, but around it were these windows on the 36th floor that looked down into, Times Square and things like that. And so if you were terrified of heights, it was a terrifying walk to our studio because you had to walk along this wall of windows, 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 windows. And he was so scared that we're like, okay, well, we'll walk you around the studio and you can walk down the center hallway where you don't have to look out the windows. But as he came around the corner, because we were in glass studios, as he came around the corner, he was plastered up against the glass like a sucker fish, and he would not. He was inching his way, inch by inch by inch. He was so terrified, and I'm sitting in the studio trying to keep my composure as I'm watching this insanity happen outside, and my co-host, because Derek wasn't there that day, my co-host at the time was outside trying to help him get around the corner, and so I didn't have anyone to talk to. I was hyperventilating because I was laughing so hard I thought I was going to die. It was probably my favorite memory in all the 12 years because it was just fucking insane.
Well, and the irony of it is that that was not the only way to leave the studio. If he had just made a left instead of a right, he would have been fine.
I know.
But a crazy person. Since Romaine said her favorite, I mean, I think that for me, the favorite guests have always been the people that I watched on TV as a kid. So Charo, Linda Carter, Catherine Bach, all the ladies from TV from my childhood.
Suzanne Summers.
What?
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers was a tough interview, but she was fine. I like Suzanne Summers fine, but the worst, as I have said many times before, and this is not a reflection of her as a person, but the worst interview was Amy Sedaris. And Amy had this home entertaining book that she had put out, and Romaine was off. It was pretty close to Christmas, and I don't remember why. Romaine might have gone home to Wyoming early or something, but Romaine wasn't there, and I was doing the show alone without even a co-host, which, as Romaine will tell you, is hard. It's hard work. And we only had one guest, and it was Amy Sedaris, and she was no-showing, and I was in a hot panic about it. And Danglin' Dan was our producer, and he contacted the publicist and strong-armed the publicist. For whatever reason, Amy Sedaris didn't know about the interview or forgot about it, whatever it was. And then she was not prepared to do it. But Dan was like, look, publicist, you owe me a favor for whatever reason. And the publicist I strong-armed Dan. I've got to have this guest. I've got no one to talk to. I'm going to die here. And so Dan strong-armed the publicist. You owe me. And so then the publicist is like, Amy, bitch, get on the fucking radio. So Amy Sedaris gets on, and she was not in the mood for it, and she was not having it. And here were her answers. One word, no, yes, or my personal favorite, why would you ask me that? So that was basically the longest 10 minutes of my whole life. And it was hard because I'm a big fan of Amy Sedaris. And I don't blame her. It was not her fault. And, you know, she obviously didn't want to be there. And I learned a very valuable lesson. It was early in the years of our show that, you know what, if a guest is not there, let the guest not be there, because it's better to have a guest that wants to be there than to not have, or to have no guests at all than to have somebody who doesn't want to be there. I mean, really, that was an important lesson to learn.
Or a guest who doesn't understand how radio works. I mean, there have been so many guests over the years who'd get on and they just were completely clueless about how radio works. Either they would talk, and never shut the fuck up, which happened frequently. And so you could never have a flow of conversation because all they were doing was talking, and they would just go on about nonsense that you were just like, will you please shut the fuck up? Or then there would be people who were just horrible on the radio. For me, one of the hardest things about the show being canceled was on our last night was one of what I think was the worst interviews ever in the history of our show, because I just didn't enjoy the interview with the guest. The guest had been on the show before and been fine, but for whatever reason, it just was not coming together. It was not gelling, and I was just like, oh my God, there were times when Derek and I both had these experiences throughout interviews where one or both of us would just put our head down and be like, Jesus Christ, put us out of our misery. Please, for the love of Christ, please. Please.
Okay. Way to go out on top. Now.
Yeah, what can you do?
Okay, let's go to Mike. Mike says, how many times did you try and sell Iris at the yard sale? Were there any takers?
Okay, I did not try to sell Iris at the garage sale for one reason and one reason only. Because she's the fucking breadwinner at my house. So I can't be selling the one source of income that we have. Hello, I'm not a fucking idiot. So no, I did not try selling her at the garage sale. Now, Romy, on the other hand, I did try selling a couple of times. But the takers they just didn't seem like good fits. So we kept her.
Oh, you kept her?
We did. We kept her. Yeah.
Okay, Gail says, Derek, on the HBO show Looking, did they write that character about you when you worked for AOL? No, Gail. I don't know the people who made Looking. It was not about me. I did have sex in my office one time at AOL, but it was not with my boss, and I was not sleeping with someone else at the time. Anyway, there you go.
That's good to know. I'm glad to know that character was not. I don't even know who that character was. I hated that show.
It really wasn't for you, Romaine.
No, it was not.
Jeffrey has a question. He actually has like 5 questions, but it got voted up the most, so here we go. Do you have an estimate of how many people actually canceled their subscriptions already? I know people have pledged to not renew, but how many actually canceled immediately in protest? Sorry, I'm asking multiple questions at once. Well, we don't have any notion or idea. I mean, we saw what you saw, and Romaine and I were not encouraging people to cancel their subscriptions. And, a big reason for that is that we still have friends who have shows at SiriusXM, and, we don't want you to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We were not encouraging people. We have specifically said, don't blame other shows, don't call other shows. It's not necessary to make grand gestures on our part. It's very sweet that everyone wants to, and I understand that, people are upset and everything, but we can't ask people to do that. Now, I understand that there's a segment of people who, our show was the reason that they were subscribing, and in that kind of a situation, then they may feel that there's no reason to keep their subscription. And, if I were only subscribing, if I subscribed to Showtime for one show and the show ended, I would probably let go of my Showtime subscription, because why would I pay whatever it was a month to keep Showtime if there wasn't anything on that I was watching? So I understand that. But, most of the people who listen to our show listen to lots of other things. And so, there wasn't really a need for them to make that kind of grand gesture on our behalf. But no, we don't have any kind of estimate or anything like that. And we haven't been keeping track, and it's not necessary.
What are you talking? I've counted every single one. It's been at least 1 million subscribers. No?
Romaine, no.
Oh. Okay.
Here's our next one. And by the way, remember, click the icon up here if you're watching us on Google Live. It looks like a keypad, and you can ask your own question. That's me asking a question. Or you can vote up other people's questions there in the Q&A feature. If you're watching us live on YouTube, or even if you're not watching live on YouTube, you can click on the banner right here on the screen and interact with the show. Okay, here we go. Jim says, I miss you all terribly. Oh, obviously.
Aww.
Will you be doing appearances in Stanton's West Texas motel with his mummified mother?
Will we?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Bummer.
I know. I agree. I think Romaine is adding Google effects to her face.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I keep getting notices about it. All right. Harlan says, can we encourage Derek to go back to his natural hair color? Natural.
Oh, please.
With those beautiful silver highlights, and get rid of what looks like a merkin on his head. No. This is it. Back to Merkintown. When I saw how gray I was after I swam in the lake with Romaine, oh my God. Nope. I know. And I'm pretty sure Harlan is my mother. But no, I got my first gray hair at 16, and it has been a long, depressing slog ever since. So no, the answer is no. Thank you for that. Oh, please.
I found a new toy. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is awesome. I can write things on myself. I wonder if I can write things on you.
Probably not. Gail says, can I just say I love seeing you guys live rather than just hearing your voices. It's way better. Oh, that's nice.
That is kind of nice. It feels good that people like seeing us, I guess. Because, I'm very anti being on camera.
Yeah, we know.
But here I am, motherfuckers. I hope you enjoy it.
Here's Josh's question. Josh says, Romaine, did you ever think you would go from hating Periscope to surpassing Derek on broadcasting? You are amazing at Periscope.
Okay. First of all, thank you. That's very sweet. I'm glad that you are enjoying the broadcast that I am doing. For me, Periscope has really helped fill the void of not getting to talk to everyone on the radio every night, so I have been kind of utilizing it as my own personal version of therapy, which is why I have so many broadcasts. Now, I have this weekend put up some funny Periscopes from like the garage sale and from Romy doing painting. Here's the thing. Romy loves Periscope. Like, hardcore loves it, wants to be on Periscope all the fucking time, and I'm just like, oh, Romy, no, they don't need to see anymore. They don't. But, yeah. So, yes, I mean, I do love it a little bit. I mean, I'm not, like, in love with it the way other people are in love with it, but I will continue to do it because it fills the void.
And by the way, Romaine has not surpassed me on Periscope because they still have many more followers than Romaine does.
That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the number of scopes that I've done.
Oh, yeah, I saw you did like 5 yesterday. It was too many.
I didn't do 5. I did 3. And they were all short.
Uh-huh. It was 5.
It was 3. I think it was 3. Now I have to go look, you asshole. Hold on. I'm going to go look. I did not do 5. Did I do 5? Really? I didn't do 5.
No,
There's no way I did 5. I did 3. You're a
Yeah.
liar.
All I'm saying is I opened up my Periscope, and all of the most recent Periscopes were Romaine.
Well, that's probably true. I did do a few yesterday. Well, because I did one at the garage sale, because how can you not do a fucking scope from the garage sale? And then I did one while Romy was creating her artwork, because I thought it'd be funny. But then everybody wanted to fucking buy her artwork, so then I had to show them the finished product, which is why I had to do another one.
Okay, let's move on to our next question.
Okay.
Not that I don't enjoy fighting with you, but we have, you know, we're already halfway through, so we don't have a lot of time, and I want to get as many questions as possible. Okay. Victoria says, what weekly segment do you guys miss doing most? Desperately fucking angry? I miss the rants, love the scopes and hangouts, but miss both your rants. Really, the thing that I miss the most about doing the show is the open of the show, Coffee Clash, talking about my day every day, talking about whatever weird thing was happening in the world. The open of the show was always my favorite part of the show. So that's what I miss the most.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree. I really love that first hour of the show. It was always the most fun for me, too. But in terms of, like, regular segments, I would say I probably miss Gay Problems and Dildo Whisper, the Sexpert segment. Those were probably my 2 favorites to participate in, so I miss those ones a lot.
Okay. Now, what else have we got?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, Deborah. Ooh, Deborah has a good question. Deborah says, Derek, what is the story about your stalker that you mentioned on your Periscope yesterday?
Which stalker was that, Derek?
Okay, so I did mention yesterday that while we did the show years ago, I had a stalker.
He sure did.
Oh, and let me tell you something. It was scary.
Yeah, that shit was no joke. That shit was no joke. And the funny thing is, I recognized the potential of this freak before Derek did. I'm like, Derek, there is something not right here. And Derek's like, no. And I was like, oh, something not right.
Yeah,
not right.
I always try to see the best in people. I know I seem like a evil bitch pessimist about everything, but I really do try to, you know, assume the best and then be severely disappointed by people later. And in this case, I mean, he was weird and...
Weird? That's an understatement.
No, I'm talking about at the beginning.
He was beyond weird.
No, at the beginning, he was weird. And then it started getting more weird. And I just was like, well, you know, sometimes people... it's the same thing with us, is that sometimes people... like, I can come off as very, very bitchy. in like a Facebook post or Twitter or whatever. And most of the time I'm like, I'm just trying to be funny. I'm not personally trying to be mean or anything, but sometimes it doesn't come across. And so sometimes we get emails from people and they're kind of nasty. And then you write them back and then they write to you again and they're like, oh, you know what? That sounded much meaner than I had anticipated. I didn't really plan it to be like that. So his emails initially were kind of nasty, but I just thought, well, he's trying to be funny or he doesn't get how it comes across. And anyway, but it got worse. And then he got threatening. And then it got even more threatening. And then it was, I'm leaving voicemail messages where I'm going to chop your head off. All I'm saying is the stalker situation was one where if I played for you some of the voicemail messages he left, you wouldn't sleep tonight.
Yeah, no, he was a special case. And it was funny because it was the first time we ever really dealt with a situation of that magnitude. And we have had other stalker situations, but not as bad. I know I've dealt with a couple of pretty nasty little situations myself, but yeah, that one was something. That was something else. I mean, even I was freaked out.
Yeah, anyway, the bottom line is he went to federal prison for 3 years.
Yep.
So that's that story. And they let him out on my birthday. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday.
Lovely.
Okay, let's move on. Bob in Wisconsin, Bob says, is cable television an option for DNR? Look at us, Bob.
I mean, I have a face for TV. I could totally be on TV. Absolutely.
Tanya says, I'm going to let that go. Tanya says, Romaine, you sound so far away. Is something in front of your microphone?
I don't think so.
How about your tits? Are your tits on your microphone?
No. Nope, I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. I don't know why I sound far away. Lord knows I'm fucking loud.
Well, that's true.
Turn up your volume.
I do think if we're going to continue doing these kinds of things, we should probably have some kind of legitimate microphone situation.
I have one somewhere. I just don't know how to plug it in. Let me look.
Plug it in, plug it in. It's a great plug-in.
I don't know. I have one of those little clip-on doodads. Maybe I should try it out. Should I try it out?
If you have one, it's fancy.
All right, hang on. I'll be right back.
All right, Romaine's going to do that. I will ask another question here, or answer another question here. This one's from Carrie. Carrie says, Derek, are you smooth-chested or are you hairy? Smooth. Very, very smooth. And that's just how it is. I'm not a particularly hairy person. Just all this gorgeousness right up here. That's it. All the hair I have is on the top of my head and not between my eyebrows. Thank you, Millhouse. Now who's Millhouse? Everything's coming up Millhouse. Okay, if you want to ask questions, remember, press the keypad, boom, up here, and you can ask your Q&A questions there, or you can vote up the other questions that other people have asked if you like their question. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can interact with the show by clicking on the banner right here. Boom. I gotta do something with my nails. Okay, Richie says, while Romaine sets up her microphone, what's your new news you've been teasing? What?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, actually, that does sound better.
Oh, look at that. Thank you for this lovely little microphone, Don, in Orlando. It makes me sound better. Ha!
Okay, so there you go. I think that's better. We'll ask people if they think that Romaine sounds better. Let us know. Richie says, what's your new news that you've been teasing for the last couple of weeks, Derek? Richie, unfortunately, it's too early to talk about. Probably the earliest I'll be able to talk about it is next Sunday's Google Hangout.
A mystery. I like it.
Yeah, better get the mystery machine out, Romaine.
Okay.
What else have we got? The problem is people vote up the things and then they sail away. I go to click on them and they're gone. Okay. Kim says, we love your scopes, Romaine.
you. I enjoy doing them, believe it or not. It's shocking to me too, but I am having fun, and I have been enjoying myself. I'm shocked to say.
Okay. Josh says, "How old is that stylish lamp behind you?" 2, 3 years. How long ago did I redo this room? 3 or 4 years ago?
I think it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, Mike picked it out. I have another one right here. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can angle this away for a bit, and so you can see. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Boom. See, there's like a little table lamp here that matches it, and I don't remember where Mike picked it out. Somewhere online. I don't know.
Mike has
anyway, I like them very much too. It's nice. It's a cute little lamp. Oh, the lighting's crappy. What happened? I was fine, and now I'm not fine. Okay, there you go. I wish I had more information. I'll look inside the lampshade. Maybe it'll tell us where we bought it.
Okay.
Tanya says, that mic is way better. Very cool, Romaine.
Ha ha! Check me out. I can fix problems. Who knew? I'll have to start wearing this when I do my periscopes too. I said I would. I just had forgotten to. My bad.
All right, so we have a question from Trucker Patty. Trucker Patty, by the way, I saw that you tried to call us before the Google Hangout. You and 60 other people. But I'm glad you figured out how to find us here. Trucker Patty says, has Iris got a big honey-do list for you now, Romaine?
Fuck no. In fact, even if she gave me a honey-do list, I tell her to take that honey-do list and shove it up her ass. I have more important things to be doing, such as finding a new job. So now, that being said, I have a honey-do list of my own that I've been doing. I fixed a curtain rod the other day. I'm not allowed to go on the roof right now. And I'm not allowed, there are certain things I'm not allowed to do right now because Iris is afraid I'll get injured. So she's trying to keep me injury-free for a little while while insurance changes over and all that shit. But, yeah, so I'm trying to do as much as I can without climbing on ladders.
Okay. I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
Ivan says, any guess on what language the Derek and Romaine tweet about the live YouTube today is? My guess is Portuguese. What language can we expect next week? I don't know.
I'm going to say you can expect the language of Mars. Martian is what I'm going to guess.
Martians?
Martian. That's the language. That's the language they speak on Mars, right? Martian?
Nobody speaks anything on Mars, Romaine. There's no speaking life on Mars.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
But who knows? We're doing this flyby with Pluto that I'm watching every single day. I couldn't be more excited about. And maybe we'll discover life on Pluto.
It's not even a planet anymore. How can you be excited about something that's just a fucking rock in the sky? It's not even a planet.
Oh, it's fascinating. There's a big heart on the side of it.
A heart on? What?
There's a heart on the side.
That's revolting.
I'm not making this up.
A heart?
A heart.
Aw.
It's very cute. Astronomers are very excited.
Great.
Okay. Okay. Rick says, Derek, are you looking for a way to get the parking ticket refunded? What parking ticket?
That parking ticket from 6 months ago?
Oh my God, that was forever ago. I paid it. It's long gone. How old is that question?
Old. Like you.
You're a whore.
I know.
Al says, Derek's, the blinds on your right need to be lowered by about 3 inches. Is it making you crazy that they are not lined up with the middle of the thing? Actually, if you were standing up, they would look lined up. But since we're at a low angle, you're seeing up. But I promise you, they're in the correct place. But I love how my room is making all the OCD listeners absolutely insane. Last week, I got shit because the chair was too close to the wall. Now, I'm getting crazy shit because the shades need to drop a couple of inches. Listen, crazies. Take it back.
Derek, that's why you just need to sit in front of a painting that looks like puke. And then you don't have to worry about this shit.
All right. Jennifer says, how many people are on here now? I wish Hangouts would, can't talk, would let us know like Periscope does. You're right, it doesn't, but I looked at my counter. My counter currently says 176 viewers. So that's how many people we have live.
That's a lot.
Romaine?
That's a lot. That's a lot. It's more than I thought. I thought there'd be like 15.
No, we have a fair number.
Wow.
I know. Okay. Dan has a question. Romaine, what fun things are you doing with Romy and Iris this summer that you wouldn't have been able to do if you were working? Clip coupons, scrimp and save, not leave the house.
No, okay, so some of the fun things that we've been doing, well, we've been spending a lot more time with our friends, actually, which has been really nice. So we've been just going over to friends' house in the evening and, like, having barbecues and eating good food. We've also been doing nightly walks, where every night we walk for 30 minutes, we pick a direction, and we walk away from the house for 30 minutes, which has been a lot of fun. Believe it or not. Romy got a little crazy on her big wheel the other day, went flying down a hill at like 20 miles an hour. I'm not even fucking kidding. And then I was like, oh God, she's not going to be able to stop. And the big thing that I'm actually really looking forward to doing, I'm trying to decide when Romy and I are going to do it, but we're definitely going to the Martin Guitar Factory to see how Martin guitars are made. Because we both have Martin guitars, and I just think that that's such a cool thing, and it's so close. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive from here. But you have to get up really early in the morning because it opens at like 9 a.m. or something. So I want to get up and go early one morning and just as a mother-daughter thing for fun. I don't know if Iris will join us or not. I'll have to ask her if she wants to, but that's something I'm looking forward to doing.
Okay, well, that is lovely. What a lovely summer plan. Kyle says, would you consider a good home for Derek and Romaine show and its listeners interested in the, I'm sorry, I read this wrong. What is it? I cannot read or talk today. What would you consider a good home for Derek and Romaine show and its listeners interested in the details, since a lot of podcasts seem to have a good following of fans both online and in personal live appearances? Okay. Well, okay. The world of podcasting, as Romaine and I have looked at it spontaneously, because we had not been looking at it before 3 weeks ago, is sort of very different than the world that we have been in. And I know that a lot of people who do podcasts are like stand-up comedians, for instance. So they are already doing gigs all over the country, and then the podcast helps to support the live comedy shows that they do, and vice versa. They're doing these live comedy shows and people see them written up in their local paper, whatever, and then they check out their podcast. Okay. So Romaine and I don't have a structure that's similar to that. Also, most of those people are only doing one a week, if that.
Right, that's not enough.
Yeah. And by the way, they're doing like a half an hour once a week. Romaine and I are used to doing 5 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day. That's 15 to 20 hours a week of material, which is...
Derek, you and I are radio marathoners, and podcasters are like 100 meters.
Yeah. Sprint.
Yeah. We don't sprint. We're marathon people.
So basically, we have kind of two options here. Either we have to become sprinters, or...
I'd like to see my fat ass sprinting, Derek. I can't imagine that. Oh, God.
That's my reaction. Okay, so I can't imagine that either.
I can't imagine your ass sprinting either.
Bitch, I'm out of here. Bye.
Wait, where are you going? I'm supposed to be the one running away. You're not supposed to run away.
I was sprinting. Now I'm back.
Okay. Whew.
Whoo, I made it all the way around the house. Look at that.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. Basically, here's what we're looking for in terms of a home for our show, is that people are used to experiencing our show in a particular way. And so the best home will be one in which people can experience our show as closely as possible to how they experienced it in the past. And so that takes on a variety of forms. So that means doing 5 shows a week. It means making the show available in ways that people are used to having it being available, doing the show live so that people can interact live. It's why we're doing these videos live, because people like the live interaction with us. So,
yeah.
You know, but basically what we're saying is we want to do a show in the world of podcasting that is very different from anything else anyone else is doing in podcasting, which is kind of risky because basically what we're saying is our way of doing it is going to be better.
Well, yeah, because it is going to be better. I mean, the way I look at it is Derek and Romaine were pioneers in satellite radio. When we first came on to satellite radio, no one was doing original talk programming. It just wasn't happening. And when we first started doing our show, we had very little direction from the bosses as to what our show should be. And we created a show that fit the format we were in. And we did something very different. We were able to utilize our listeners in ways that were very different from any form of radio before that. And I think that that's exactly the way if we go into podcasting, that's what I see us doing, is revolutionizing the way people do podcasting, because right now they're just not doing it right. I mean, I feel like, you know, once a week, that's like a TV show. You never get enough. You know, we want to be able to be in people's lives daily, because I think that's where you get that really deep interpersonal connection that makes our show so unique. And I think that's, you know, when we got canceled, that's what I saw the most of, was how much the show meant to people on a very personal level, and I very much want to maintain that, because that's important to me, and I think it's important to our listeners.
And I'm 100% in agreement with that. Jeffrey says, are you guys still planning to come for Gay Days on your own? Will be a bummer not to have that Friday gathering to look forward to.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I want to go. I definitely want to go. You know, I don't want to miss me a fucking Gay Days Anaheim if I can help it. So I definitely want to go. The big question is going to be whether I'm able to, whether we have a new gig or we don't have a new gig. You know, there's just a lot of questions still. There's a lot of questions yet to be answered, and I can't commit one way or another because I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the Gay Days Anaheim thing is a lot like the summer 2016 cruise and a lot of other things. Give us until the end of July. I feel like we'll have a much better sense of where things are at by then.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so.
Yeah. So let's do that. Okay, what else we got? Adam says, so if your next venture is something where you have to censor yourself, do you think you could make it happen? Really, Romaine, can you watch your mouth?
I mean, that is a big question, isn't it? I guess the only way to find out is to see if we could do it. I mean, if we end up someplace where we can't speak as openly as we have been used to, I think yes. I think you could definitely retrain yourself. I could definitely do it. Would it be hard? No fucking question. But in a way, you know, I kind of look at it like when I think about Howard Stern. I think what made Howard Stern so great when he was on terrestrial radio is because he couldn't say things the way he maybe would have or would have wanted to. It kind of, in a way, made him more edgy because he had to come up with really creative ways to discuss things in an open and honest way that other people were not ready for him to discuss. And so I think, in a way, it's almost a fun challenge, the idea of having to be censored, because I'd like to see what kind of creative things Derek and I would do to get around some of that censorship. I think there could be a lot of fun had in that. But yeah, I think I could do it. Would I want to? No, I love being able to just speak freely the way we do in everyday life. But yeah, I think I could do it. What about you, Derek? Could you do it?
Yeah, I could. Because I can go for longer stretches without swearing than you can. You don't even hear yourself swearing.
I know, it'd be a real problem. I might have to, I would probably have to wear like one of those like little electric bracelets or whatever. You know, like when they're trying to keep kids from wetting the bed and they have those mattresses that electrocute them if they pee in them. I'm gonna need something like that where I have like a little like shock collar, like a dog shock collar, and I just get shocked like every time I cuss. I will give you the button, and you can just press it every time I cuss. Okay. I think I'd learn very quickly not to cuss.
Oh, yeah, you'll learn quickly because your heart will stop. Kevin says, didn't they reinstate Pluto's planetary status? No. Pluto is still considered a dwarf planet, something like that. Anyway, we'll see if the information that they get from the data that they're collecting over the next 5 days will change Pluto's planetary status, but it is in the Kuiper belt, and so probably what they're going to discover is that there's all sorts of things in that general area that are much closer in size and shape and form to Pluto, just because of the area in the solar system that it's in. So the chances are no. Greg says, have you considered using the cancellation as an opportunity to cut professional ties, meaning between the two of us, and take your individual talents in separate directions?
You want me to start with this one?
Or I can.
Well, I'll start.
All right.
So immediately after Derek and I exited the building of SiriusXM, we sat outside, and he kind of just stared at me. He's like, so, and I'm like, so. I mean, I think it did occur to me for a second, and then I went home and got some sleep, and I came at it with fresh eyes pretty much the next day, and Derek and I talked the next day, and I just said, here's how I rationalized it. Yes, absolutely, we could go in separate directions, and I think both of us would be very successful if we did. But I think for me, anyway, one of the things that I've always recognized about this union between Derek and I is that we complement each other very well. Where he is weak, I am strong, and vice versa. And I think that we've always kind of said we're stronger together than we are separate. So, in the idea of like kind of rebuilding this empire that we have built, I feel like we're stronger together than we are separate. And I would rather do it with Derek than do it alone. Not that I can't do it alone or he couldn't do it alone, but it certainly will be more fun together. And frankly, I kind of want to take back what was taken away from us. I want to rebuild our audience in a new home and prove everybody fucking wrong that our show is awesome. It does matter, and people will follow us because they want this show. And I think that will be very easy to do because I think what we do is something special, and people will recognize that.
All right.
We are the best creative direction is what I'm saying.
All right. So, look, I mean, here's the thing. That Romaine and I, basically, what we committed to is we are going to go to the wall to try to make it work for the two of us to continue to do it together. That's it. If we can find a way to keep the show going in a way that is feasible for us to do that, we're going to do that. That is our number one priority. It's our top priority. And a big part of that is because I have felt for a long time that the cruise that we do, the one that we're doing this fall and that we've done for the last couple of years, to me, that's our future. The Derek and Romaine listeners are great people. And when they get together, even though they're all very, very different people from inside the LGBT community, straight people, people from all different parts of the country, Canada, all around, and they feel so connected and related and make friends for life when they are together. I really think that come for the hookers, stay for the crack, that people who enjoy our show have enjoyed it, and then they go on the cruise and then they discover that they are part of a much larger community. I actually think that a lot of people discovered this when our show got canceled. They didn't realize how much our show meant to them, and then they went to our Facebook page or Twitter, and then they saw, oh, I'm not the only one who felt very emotionally attached to this show. There are other people who feel the same way about this that I do. And so there is a community built up around our show. And the crews, the Gay Days Anaheim broadcasts we've done, almost 500 people came to our last broadcast in Anaheim. Ask those 500 people how they feel about our show and how they felt being able to hang out with each other and relate to each other. It's what I think is very unique about our show, and by extension, OutQ, that is not particularly well understood, because our show is not a traditional radio show in the sense of, we're this drive time, trashy talk, whatever kind of a show. I think on the surface, there's a certain element of that to our show, but there's this undercurrent of community that I think is unique to our show. And a big part of it is the way that the LGBT community is and connects to each other. It's just very different. And so so to me, my goal is to hold all this together, because I feel like there's a future here. But if we can't make it work, we can't make it work. And so, but I will say this finally, because we're down to our last 4 minutes, but I will say in the long answer to Greg's question about us, staying together and everything, is that our future success will depend entirely on the people who are watching this right now. Because
agreed.
Let me tell you something, no matter where we go, it will basically be like 2003 all over again. We will be starting over from scratch. And if we end up being successful in whatever second iteration that we have, it will be built entirely on the focus and dedication of the kinds of people who are watching this video right now. So we have said in the last few weeks, and I will say it again, our future success depends 100% entirely on you. You will make or break our future success. And what that means is, supporting whatever our future endeavor is, telling your friends about our future thing, and, liking us on Facebook, retweeting us on Twitter costs $0, but it makes a big difference. So, if you want to support us, you want us to have a future life, that's the way to do it.
Yep, Derek is 100% right. And I think that, we've always said that the show is nothing without the listeners, and that's true. I mean, realistically, if the listeners aren't there, the show is really just Derek and I talking to ourselves. So when we do find wherever the new place is that we land, the listeners, you are are going to make or break it. Derek is 100% right on this.
Okay, Michael says, I was going to mention the chair, but didn't feel like it was my place to do. Okay, look, the chair is not touching the wall. You see, there's a shadow. The chair is in the corner, but it fits the corner. That's the space. I promise you, OCD viewers, that the chair is in the right place. Mike and I sweated over the location of every stick of furniture in this house. It is staged. It's fine. I promise you.
These gay listeners are driving me nuts. Gay, stop being so fucking gay. It's a chair in a corner. Who cares if it's close to the wall? Ugh, you fucking gays.
Grant says, my partner and I have of 9 years have been loyally listening to your show. A recent road trip was so sad without you on demand to listen to. Just another way we miss you. Well, Grant, we miss you too. A lot of people are spending long car trips this summer and they won't have our show to kick it around the way that they have in the past. You know what? You're going to miss 4th of July. People bitched about our most generic American summer holiday show, but then 4th of July rolled around and what did you have? Bupkis. So it just goes to show you, it's like the old song says, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Okay, we're very.
That bummed me out. Like, I'm gonna go cry a little bit now.
Jason says, Romaine, is a clippy-on doodad similar to a strap-on?
No. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Joe says, hey guys, glad to see you guys here. Ro, how did the garage sale turn out?
Ooh, I'll tell you. Hold on. I got this much money. Now, most of it is ones, like 90% of it. But like, yeah, almost all of it are $1. But it's like I'm a stripper. Yeah, this is how much of it is ones. This is how much of it is not ones. So we did okay. I think we did all right. I don't know. I didn't count it yet. But yeah, we made some money. I sold some shit that I didn't want, so that's a good thing. Now it doesn't have to come back to my house. That makes me happy.
Julie says, hey, bitches, what tattoos do each of you have? I have no tattoos, so Romaine is your tattooed gal.
I have a few. My most visible one is the dragon that's on my arm. You can't see his head, but it's there, I promise. I have my angel wings. I have a Keith Haring angel wing tattoo on my back. And then I have a couple others. If you want to see those, you got to see me naked. That's all I'm going to say.
Anne says, have you heard from Chris and or Mikri? Actually, we got a nice message from Mikri like a couple of days after the show got canceled. I'm sure they're very sad because they have been with us from the very, very beginning. And so I think it's been a tough separation for them.
Yeah, I love those guys. They're like family at this point. Well, shit, most of you guys are. It's tough. We've heard from so many listeners who've had such great, nice things to say, and we look forward to bringing you guys with us wherever we go.
Okay. Jason has a weird question, and I guess we'll end it here.
Okay. What is his weird question?
Jason says, my question for you two is, what if another woman came out of the woodwork saying that she was a victim of Bill Cosby, and not only that, the result of the drugged encounter was a child that was given up for adoption because of the bad memories of the drug?
I mean, first of all, it could happen. It would not be entirely surprising, but that would be really sad. But also, that's a complicated question. That's kind of a sad situation in more ways than one. But also, this whole Bill Cosby shit. I mean, this shit's just crazy, and I feel like anyone who doesn't think that he wasn't drugging people and having sex with them is completely out of their fucking minds at this point. I mean, he's all out admitted to using drugs to have sex with women. I just don't think he's a good guy. I just don't.
Right. Victoria, I was just kidding about that being the last one. Okay, Victoria says, are we extending the Google Hangouts or are we still keeping with the original agreement of 1 month? Well, Victoria, we'll see what happens. I mean, we originally, I think that what I had said is that we would keep doing these until the end of July, which is when Romaine and I have said that we hope to have some kind of announcement about the future of our show. We're going to have some kind of announcement about the summer 2016 cruise. We're going to go ahead and do that. So really, we'll probably keep doing these until the end of the month as well.
But next week might have to be a little bit later than 4 o'clock because it's Romy's birthday.
So there you go. Well, maybe we won't do next week at all.
No, we can do it. We just might have to do it at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock Eastern time.
All right. Well, whatever time you want, Romaine.
Okay.
So anyway, so there you go. So we will keep doing this at least until the end of the month. And if Romaine and I get some kind of new show where we're trying to get it off the ground and everything, we will be shamelessly shilling the shit out of whatever we're doing. So it is possible that we will keep doing these kinds of video things or something, just because, like, if we start somewhere that will require you to use some kind of new technology, we will have to have a mechanism for explaining it.
Right.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us all. Keith's question got voted up the most, and we did answer it. Do you have a ballpark estimate of how many listeners you had?
All of them. We had all of the listeners. Every
right.
last one of them.
We know we had a lot, and the estimates were based on a variety of factors, but there was never official numbers given to us, and so it's anyone's guess. But I think if you see the outpouring of response we got on Facebook and Twitter and everything, it gives you a pretty good sense of how much people liked our show. And still like us, Romaine. I like you.
Derek, am I allowed to say how many callers we used to get for the stockings, or am I still not allowed to say that?
I didn't know that you weren't allowed to say it before.
Yeah, because remember before they're like, please don't tell people how many calls we got.
Okay. Well, I'm sure
I'll
that
just
it's not
say
do anything.
500,000 calls is a lot of calls.
That's a lot of calls.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, thank you all for joining us. We're out of time, but we will do it again next week. Romaine will pick a time. It'll probably be at a slightly later time next week to accommodate Romy's birthday.
Yes.
But we will do this again next Sunday. In the meantime, keep liking and sharing our videos. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you're a Periscope person, Romaine and I are on Periscope as well during the week. And that's it. Another week of no exciting news for you.
Isn't it fun? Derek, wait, before we go, did you hear that Iris fucking won an Apple Watch because of a picture I took?
No.
Yes. Oh my God. I gotta just tell you about this real quick. Because, oh my God, it was fucking crazy. So last week she says to me, I need to take a picture for this contest at work. And I was like, okay, what is it? She goes, well, I have to take this piece of paper that says I live well, and I have to write why I live well, and I have to like take like an athletic picture, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I told her, I said, well, here's what you need to write. Say you live well because you want to be a good role model for your daughter. Because I thought that's good. Like people are gonna like that.
Sure.
And then I took her outside and I put her on the magic rock on top of it, and she did this like stupid pose with the sign. And I took the picture. I took a bunch of them until I had the one that I wanted. And then she emailed it into work, right? She comes home a couple days later, and she's like, so I have some really exciting news. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? She goes, so remember that picture you took of me? And I'm like, duh. And she goes, yeah, I won. And I was like, oh, that's really awesome. What did you win? And she goes, well, I might have won an Apple Watch. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? Here I am. I've wanted an Apple Watch since before they came out. Even though people are like, oh, the Apple Watch sales are tanking. It's a horrible Apple Watch. Why would you want the Apple Watch? I still want the fucking Apple Watch, and now my fucking wife wins one. Crazy, right? Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
That's super crazy. Speaking of super crazy, so, you know, I have the window air conditioning unit up in my room, but I've been lazy, even though I've had plenty of time on my hands, not working. And so I haven't taped the side thing shut. And so you know how sometimes like insects will come in.
Oh no. Oh no. This is going to be bad.
So there's been a wasp in my room for 3 days. It can't figure out how to get out, and it won't die. And I don't have the heart to kill it. I mean,
oh my God,
like
you fucking kill it before it stings you in your sleep, you dumbass. What are you waiting for?
I'm going to try to figure out like trap it in a box and send it outside. Like this is the problem. Like I want to try to rescue it and send it outside, but I know it will try to sting me if I do.
Don't try to rescue it. Some things are just meant to die.
Well, I keep hoping that it won't have anything to eat and it will just die on its own.
Oh, just kill the fucking thing before you get stung. Now I'm worried about you, dumbass.
You should be worried. All right, well, now we have a cliffhanger until next week. What will happen with a wasp in Derek's room? And will Romaine steal Iris's Apple Watch?
Yes.
You'll just have to tune in to find out. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.